We are Smoke Jaguar, strongest of the clans.
Like the joy you feel when a Gauss rifle shell slams into an enemy mech's cockpit? MechWarrior 5 Clans hits hard, but it can also frustrate, like fighting an Atlas while missing an arm. On the one hand, it's an engaging, mechanically excellent mech combat sim that nails all the customization and intricacy you'd expect from this walking tank series. Clan's campaign story also lands some haymakers that explore big ideas and tackle tough subject matter.
It is only a matter of time before they bring their greed and their never-ending wars to our doorsteps.
On the other hand, which just got blown off by an autocannon, it's a game beset by bugs that stand in the way of total victory. But when I rolled credits after my 25-hour playthrough, one of my first thoughts was, man, I want to play this again.
You five are the final vestiges of your brood that some deem might one day be of value to the clan. I am not one of them.
Clan's story follows an interesting group of characters led by a young squad commander named Jaden Smoke Jaguar, and while the plot does take a minute to really hit its stride, it's compelling even in the early going. You don't have to have played any other MechWarrior games to get the gist of Clan's story, but general familiarity with the Battletech universe will go a long way towards helping you follow why contractions are a no-no and Freebirth is a slur, rather than a new Final Fantasy VII game.
Damn Freebirths. We could have avoided all of this if they came out and faced us in the open.
I won't go into great detail here because I think Clan's story about an ambitious young mech pilot's ethically perilous crusade to reclaim Earth for its eugenics-happy overlords is worth experiencing fresh, but it's not afraid to ask some big questions about the nature of propaganda, war, morality, honor, sacrifice, the responsibility soldiers bear for carrying out orders they know to be wrong.
This is not strength, this is weakness!
And the human cost of conflict on a galactic scale. Through briefings, mid-mission dialogue, and some of the most visually stunning and well-voice-acted cutscenes I've ever seen in a video game,
challenge accepted.
You're told that reclaiming Terra will free the people living there from the yoke of tyranny, that what you're doing is right, and that conducting yourself honorably in battle matters most of all.
And they shall tremble before our might.
But is it true, or is the Smoke Jaguar Clan blowing smoke?
Are we the baddies?
You can probably see where this is going, but watching these characters go on this journey and grapple with the nature of full-scale conflict is still dramatic and thrilling.
Galaxy Commander, such an action may spur panic among the populace.
I do not care.
There were missions where story and gameplay melded so intricately that they made me sit forward in my chair.
Something must be done. This is not right.
I've rarely had such a visceral reaction to missions I've played in a video game, and Piranha Games has done a great job of nailing what makes the MechWarrior universe tick by not shying away from the realities of war.
We will teach every last one of these freeborns what it means to conspire against the Jaguar.
If I have one complaint here, it's that I wish we got to spend more time with these characters between missions. Most of their arcs are clearly defined, but there are a couple of major events that just kind of happen off screen, and I would have liked to see them explored more deeply.
Good hunting tomorrow.
You too.
You are currently behind the controls of mankind's premier weapon of war, a clan omnimech.
The actual mechs and potatoes of this series is the missions you deploy on. There is a ton of variety here, whether you're defending a captured base from an attack, or trying to sneak past enemies on a stealth recon mission.
Killer forces down below. Keep back from the ledge until they pass.
More importantly, almost all of it is memorable and unique. This is a fairly long game at around 25 hours, but I was never bored.
Not my idea of a day at the beach.
You're given a lot of freedom to decide how you want to play by the way you build your mech's loadout. If you're rocking a ton of small to medium lasers, autocannons, or short-range missiles, you'll probably want to be in the thick of things. But if you're using a Gauss rifle, long-range missiles, or larger lasers, you might want to sit in the back and wage your war at range while you order your squad to take the lead. Either way, all of the weapons in Clans feel amazing. Whether you're watching your heavy mech lurch backwards from the recoil of a Gauss rifle, trying to time your autocannon shots so you're maximizing your fire rate and avoiding jams, managing the heat generated by your lasers, or just determining which enemy is going to bear the brunt of your missiles, you're always making interesting choices in combat. You've also got to manage your ammo and your mech's durability. Lose too much armor without a pit stop at a repair bay, and you'll start taking structural damage. Take too much of that, and you might lose an arm and the weapons mounted to it, crippling your ability to fight. Or maybe you lose a leg and your mobility goes down. And if the enemy manages to break through the armor, defending your core and land a good hit or two, say goodnight, Gracie.
Systems offline.
If you know how the mechs you're fighting are built, you can target the appropriate parts of their bodies and eliminate their biggest strengths. A catapult's shoulder-mounted missile launchers can tear you to shreds if you're not careful, but it's a lot less scary when you blow both of its arms off from a distance. Making the right calls in the moment matters, and I love that I was rewarded for picking my spots and recognizing where the threats were in any given moment.
Nice one.
Destroyed.
Clans gives you all kinds of tools to adjust your tactics on the fly. If there's no time to use the top-down map to issue complex marching orders to your squad, you can use the radio menu to command units individually. You can even switch to directly controlling the other members of your squad if you get bored of Jaden or if he goes down.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Speaking of choices, let's talk mech customization. There are 16 types of mechs in clans, divided into light, medium, heavy, and assault categories. The Viper, which I started with, is a 40-ton mech. She's fast for a medium weight and has access to a large amount of firepower if you build her right, but she's not the most durable thing on the battlefield. The iconic Timberwolf, on the other hand, is an endlessly customizable 75-ton heavy mech with firepower for days and the ability to go toe-to-toe with a much larger chassis if you play her right. To paraphrase Samuel L. Jackson, it's my choice for when I absolutely, positively have to kill every mecha in the room.
Accept no substitutes.
And then there's the Direwolf, a 100-ton monster that's essentially just a heavier Timberwolf that will dog-walk just about everything in her way, albeit slowly. By the end of Clan's campaign, my squad was running 5 of these monsters. That's a nice army you have there, Freeborn. It'd be a shame if a pack of Direwolves happened to it. Between missions, you'll have to make some tough choices. What affinity do I upgrade for this pilot? Whose mech is going into combat without being fully repaired because we don't have enough technicians? What upgrades should the scientists prioritize? But that's part of the fun. MechWarrior is about customization, right down to the paint job, and I loved how many things I could tweak.
New hostile detected. Dervish.
You can play the entire campaign alone or in up to 5-player cross-platform co-op. That's awesome, and hopefully it'll soon be the best way to play. I say hopefully because, unfortunately, co-op comes with a lot of problems at the moment. The most annoying thing is that your friends can't manually choose which pilots they're using when they join you, which is bad because all the pilots are good at different things, and that can affect what you build around. We had to leave and reform our co-op group several times to get everyone in the right place, and that feels almost as bad as taking a shot from 4 PPCs. Worse, if we ever had to restart a mission, everybody but me would often find themselves playing a different pilot and piloting a different mech than on the first run. We also hit desync issues. On one mission, we were supposed to be fighting a gunship that was circling the area we were trying to defend. It worked fine for me, but for my friends, it was either floating completely still in the air or hovering miles away. To them, it looked like I was shooting nothing, and the mission was much, much harder as a result.
If they cannot destroy us, they will take down as many of us with them as they can.
Yet another issue is that if a teammate died, it meant they were sitting there waiting for us to finish instead of swapping them to another mech. When that happened, we generally just restarted the mission, which meant backing out and reforming the party all over again. Piranha has announced plans for a patch that will address the co-op bugs at some unspecified time in the coming days after launch, but that doesn't help right now. A solo run is a good way to play in the meantime, but I also ran into a few less severe bugs when playing alone. Sometimes my laser effects wouldn't appear when I fired them, even though they were doing damage. Another time, in a very long, very late game mission, clans didn't recognize that I was destroying an objective, so I couldn't progress and had to do the entire mission again. It's a good thing I was planning to replay a lot of these missions anyway, or that would have been super annoying. MechWarrior 5 Clan surprised me with its thoughtful, well-told story, great mission design, fantastic walking tank combat, and all of the customization you could want. I genuinely loved playing it, especially in co-op, and several story moments and missions will stick with me for a long time.
Are you sure about the start hurdle? These goods belong to the clans.
I just wish my first playthrough hadn't been so buggy, especially in co-op. If Piranha's promised post-launch patch can fix these issues, clans will have a lot fewer frustrating lows to drag down its many impressive highs. But one way or another, I'll definitely be suiting up for the Smoke Jaguar Clan for another run.
Eyes up. Kit Commander incoming.
For more, check out our reviews of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and the Until Dawn remake. And for everything else in gaming, keep it here at IGN.